Hey guys, we are again. Another movie this time, a short video. I'm going to do a bit of a review on this bad boy since I've had it for about close on a month now. So I'm going to go through some things with you, some of the things that I've found on this truck that's, you need to keep an eye on, and some of the good stuff about it too. So first of all, I've had this truck. Well, it was a Christmas present, so I've had it since Christmas Day. So it's almost, we're getting towards the end of January now, and I've had it for about a month. And let me tell you, I'll put this thing through some pretty tough terrain, which I've only got, I think, only got one running video up there, but more to come on that. And then after that, I'll do a little bit of maintenance on this. There's running these sort of vehicles in grassy fields and stuff like that. That's fine, but one thing I found recently is I ran it in a park near my brother's place, and it had been mowed recently and still a lot of grass around. And these motors tend to suck up a lot of grass and debris and everything else. So I'll get into that towards the end of it. But all in all, it's an awesome truck. I mean, it's I can't knock it for its performance, its bloody agility for the size of it. I mean, good on jumps, really good on jumps. A couple of things I did find was a little bit concerning, which here in Australia or North Queensland, summertime, which is what we're in now, middle of the days and that tend to get pretty hot, and I know, and these things, if you don't keep the debris out of the fins in the head and everything else, they do tend to run a bit hot. So one thing I did find with the body, you can see here down on this little panel here. Now your transmission case is all here and everything else. Now I don't know if you can see there, but that panel, if you can see how it's deformed a bit, and I'd say that's from the heat. See, it's all buckled and whatever else, because it's only a short section there. This side's fine, but in saying that, this side's fine. But the airflow off the top of the head comes out this side of the truck. So I think that might be the heat, and being only a short piece of Lexan there, it's a little bit prone to heat. So something like that to keep an eye on. It's nothing major. It doesn't hinder the truck in any way. It's still fine. It just looks a little bit funny, that's all. But other than that, I guess getting to the time now where I need to service the air filter again. So you should do that. I think in the book it says every 4 or 5 tanks. Pull the air filter out, clean it up, re-oil it, put it back together. Another thing I found with this truck, after running a tank of juice, and then like it is at the moment, it's got a little bit of fuel left in there, and after I ran it, and then it sat for a while. What it did was it sucked the tank in. The tank sucked in. It was all like it, like you see on fuel bottles when they swell and they suck in, but they don't swell. But after a while, notice with very little fuel in the tank, it sucks the sides in, and it looks really funny. But so one thing I might have to do is put an air breather in the top of this cap. The only other way to combat that, what I've found, is after you run it, just leave the lid on, but just back it off so that it's loose, and it won't suck the side. It doesn't suck the sides in. So other than that, I did actually lose. You can see on here, there used to be a rubber section with a little bit left on there, and then your pipe that comes out the back. It's in the box there. I'm not going to get it out now, but it actually broke off. Now, maybe heat and oil at the exhaust has done that. So I'll try and find another solution for that, or I'm going to stick a pipe on this thing anyway. And I did actually lose one of the bolts out of the muffler. If you can see there, it's actually gone altogether. And what happened was, I noticed it got a bit funny, and what it done, the bolts come loose, and the exhaust and the muffler fell to the side like that. So it was opening the exhaust port, and not going through the muffler. So that's something to keep an eye on. Keep an eye on your bolts. You should, after every run, go over the whole vehicle. The motor runs beautiful. I think I've got it to what they call a sweet spot now, and get maximum RPM out of it, and it's got It's got shitloads of torque. It's unbelievable for torque. I mean, going through some hilly terrain and gullies and that, and coming up the other side and jumping up off the top of it, it's got plenty of grunt for bloody climbing and everything else. That side of things, it's a great truck without it. Another thing I did find too, the first couple of days of running this truck, the two steering servos, one this side and there's one on the other side, this little servo, this alloy servo horn here, now there's a little screw down in the bottom there. I lost it. Because of the vibrations and everything, it backed out, and this servo arm fell off. Now it's happened to both of them, so keep an eye on those. Check on the screws. I had to find some other screws to put back in there. It's not because it's stripped out. It's all metal. But I did, like I said, I did have to replace the two screws, one in this one and one on the other one on the other side. So that's something to look out for. The other thing is, I've just noticed this when I went to pull it all down before. There's this here. It's actually, I don't know if you can see it. See how loose that is in there? Now that's lost the bottom screw out of there. And the top little Allen screw there, if you can see it there, it's loose, right? So what I'm going to do, I've lost the bottom one. I'll get a new one and I'll put some Loctite on that and put it back in. I'll pull that top one out, put some Loctite on it, put it back in. So that's some of the things to keep an eye on. And you know, being a monster truck too, or any fifth scale, this side's still okay, but this side here. So keep an eye on all that sort of stuff. Go over all your nuts and bolts on the truck. Make sure they're all tight. Before you run it, or after you've run it, cleaned it down, go through it all, make sure that it's all good. I did lose this front wheel, and only to slack this on my behalf, I didn't actually check the wheel nuts before I ran it. And I lost the wheel nut off this side. Luckily, we found it. So that's another thing. Keep an eye, keep checking your wheel nuts, especially with these big tyres and that. Check all those. Now, the other thing that I had in the drivetrain, which is not pulled apart, so it's a bit hard to show you. So I'll turn the truck around. If I come around this side and see what's going on. In the transmission here, you got your 3 gears. This is the one on your clutch bell. Then you got your idler gear in the middle and the gear that drives your drivetrain. Now, in these two, I should have pulled this apart, but any of you guys that have had these trucks will know what it looks like inside here. There's when you pull this off, there's a grub screw, 2 grub screws in the shaft on this one and one on this one. Now what happened was, the first day I ran it actually, I was driving it around and it just come to the point where it just was slipping. It wouldn't drive at all, and when I pulled this off, a grub screw had come loose in here and lost one of the grub screws out of this, off the shaft in the center gear here. So another thing to keep an eye on. Like I said, you got to do a bit of maintenance on these things. Check all your scrub screws and everything like that. So it's all sorted now. That part of it's all really good. And but other than that, I have not found too many other dramas with this truck. This truck's been awesome. I mean, I love it. I reckon it's great. It's the first 5th scale monster truck that I've had. Like, I've had other 5th scales, like you can see in the background, but this thing's awesome. Like, the shocks are great. Like, I thought I might have blown a shock from, so I've seen it over a couple of fairly decent sort of jumps come out. A couple of them bottomed out, but I mean, that's just where I was running it. It was a bit bloody, the jump was pretty severe, but it handled it. Other than that, I think I've actually gone through a spark plug as well. But being the running in process, everything is pretty rich, running pretty rich. So I was kind of expecting to, for the first plug to come with the truck. Originally would not last a hell of a long time, but I replaced it with an NGK plug, so it's got a good quality plug in it. A little bit hotter, and it runs great. I haven't had any dramas with anything else on it. It's I'd recommend it. Look, it's a good truck, good fun. It's not fast like the Bahas and everything else, but if you're looking to get into a 5th scale and monster truck, I mean, there's other ones on the market, like the Lossie's got one too, which are pretty expensive. But for the money. Like here in Australia, I think this thing's around the $1,200 to $1,400 mark. So value for money, good truck. If you're looking to get, like I said, if you're looking to get into the 5th scale and a monster truck, you can't go past the blackout. The other thing is too, before I move on, I've been told that these things go really well, you know, a bit more crisp, a bit more grunty, a bit more low down torque when you put a pipe on. So if any of you have got any ideas for me on the different types of pipes that would suit this truck, drop me, put something in the comments, and you know, I'll have a look at them, because I'm keen to get something for this so as I can get a bit more, you know, a bit more performance out of it. In saying that, yeah, it's a monster truck, but yeah, leave a comment. So what I'll do now, after all that, moving on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the front off here and give you a look inside of here, and I'll show you where all the grass gets. So I've already backed these off, so I'll take, I've got the wheels off the other side already, so I'll just take these off, just to make things a little bit easier. This one off. Now, what I'm going to do now is I've already started, I'll put my glasses on so I can see. Now, I've already pulled the screw out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cage off first, which is fairly easy. Go underneath the truck here on this stand I've got, so I can bloody make it easy to work on. Undo, there's 2 screws for the cage, right? 2 screws on the bottom of the chassis. There's this one here, and the other one's from out this side here. So they actually screw through into the chassis, and you just back them out. Put it back down. Heavy beast. Now, what else they've got is they've got a clip here, and there's one each on the other side. So I'll pop them out. And I'll pull these 2 out on this side here. And on this side here. And that's the cage. Cage comes off. Okay? So put that over there. Now, once the cage is off, you've got plenty of access to the rest of it. So first of all, what I'm going to do is, got my tools here. I'm going to, because of the fold up edge on this chassis, there's you can't actually pull this whole thing off. What I have to do first is pull the pull starter off. Take these 2 off. That screw out there. Now this is the first time I've actually had these covers off this motor, so first time I've actually ran the thing in a grassy field, and it did suck up a heap of grass. I mean, if you had seen it before, there was grass everywhere on this thing. It was all caked in, sucked in up underneath here, in the pull starter, underneath, all around the drive shafts, and yeah, it was everywhere. So I got the compressor and blew all the grass out of it. But I would imagine, and we'll soon find out, it would have sucked some grass up in on top of here, in on top of the head. So I'll pull that off. Get my hands out the way. The screws out of there. Whoops, that one fell on the floor. Okay, pull starter. Now I managed to get a blown it out, so there's no, that still all looks pretty good. So that's all good. Now what you can see, if I get that bolt out of there, is if you look in here, can't see any grass in here, but I no doubt believe that there'll be some on top of the head here. So I'll get another tool here, and we'll pop that front cover off. With a bit of luck, it should just come out without pulling the motor. They're going to be tight. Now what I'll probably do is, when I put this back together, I probably will put a little bit of Loctite on these just to stop them vibrating less, because these motors are solid mounted on the chassis. So a little bit of Loctite on these, you know, nothing stupid, will probably go good towards not having anything vibrate off. So that one there, this one here. Now these motors are the same motors as what they got in the buggies, like the Bahas and everything else. So that's why you can see there's a little jolted out section there with a screw hole in the back. So that's how the Baja buggies mount, motors mount into those. So they're the same type of motor. Get into here, we'll back these two out. Now these two are just screws that screw into plastic. So when you do them back up, just be careful that you don't strip them out. Okay, so I think I've got them all. So what I should be able to do, I should be able to slide this sucker off here. Like I said, I've not had this off yet, so it's a learning experience along with you guys. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get... I'm trying to... hang on. Oh, I just found 2 more screws. So there are 2 underneath the chassis, part of the engine mount. So if I come over here, flip this up to the side, you can see these 2 screws here. So I'll have to undo those. I think that's the right size, isn't it? So just back them off. Now just remember too, when you're undoing these, there is a little spacer, little tiny spacer between the chassis plate and underneath the motor. So keep an eye on those in case they fall out on you, because they're probably going to be a little bit of a pain putting them back in, get them in the right position. So okay, that one's pretty. That one was actually a little bit loose. So like I was saying before, keep an eye on all your bolts. Run your Allen keys, or see, there we go. That one just fell out. So this is what they are. This little spacer here, it goes between the chassis plate and underneath the motor. So that's got to go back in. So if I drop this back over, there's the other one just fell out. Okay, I'll see if I can tip them back out. That cover's loose. Okay, so that cover will come off now. Now have a look in there. I'll just slide that out. Have a look at that. Now this is something that you've got to, with running these style things, you've got to be careful of. Now when it looks like that, what happens is these motors get cool from the fan on the flywheel here. Now if it ends up like that, it's just lucky that we finish for the day. That's not good. What will happen there, if you keep driving this with that in there, it can't cool. These motors rely, like I said, these motors rely on the fan on this flywheel to blow air up through and across the top of the head. Now, if you keep driving when you got this sort of crud build up in here, it'll overheat and you'll wind up having to buy a new motor for it. So, pull this out. Now, what I'm probably going to have to do is pull that top cover off too. I would say. If I can get some of this grass out of here, and if you see it, can you see? You look in underneath there. If I can get the camera in there to see. See, there's your head fins. Now, what happens is that, like you saw, that grass has built up and blocked all this off, so the airflow can't come up here and then go across the head. So, what I'll do is I'll take this off, take the plug cap off, take that off the side there, and this, oh, I forgot there's a screw on the other side here, on the side of the motor, which I will thing here, that little one on the side there, undo that, and take that out. I've got stuff falling everywhere here and I'm getting my arms in the camera. So, got that out. I'm going to pull this off. You can actually pull the plug out if you like, and pull this little top cover off. Here we go, and look at that. So you can see what I mean about all the grass getting in around the head. So, keeping all that there, not a good idea. I'm trying to clean all this out. I probably need to get the compressor to blow this out. Well, what I'll do is I'll get the most of this out now. And in there. So yeah. So you can see Sorry guys, I'm getting my head in the road here. What this actually probably needs is, I'm probably going to leave it at here because it needs to be blown out. So, but you get the idea on what I'm saying when you need to bloody keep an eye on things. The ideal thing is to buy the outerwears. Now, there's outerwears to fit them. You want to pull the motor out, but there's outerwears that go underneath the back of the case there, where all the vents are from underneath, which also helps suck air in. And let me tell you, it does suck crap in through there. And there's another one that goes over your pull starter, so that nothing can get sucked in through the vents on the side of that. Ideally, even with those outerwears on, you still got to be mindful with the fact that it still is going to suck like grass and stuff in onto you around the bottom of your motor. So you still got to keep an eye on that. The outerwears will keep all the grass and sticks and everything else out of the engine itself. But you will still get build up around the bottom of the case and around your pull star and everything else, which will still also mean that it can still overheat, even though it's not getting grass and stuff up inside. So keeping that in mind, I mean, I'll finish the video here because what I need to do is I need to go out and blow this out with the compressor so I can get rid of all the grass in there before I install this back on. So one thing, after seeing all this, I think I am going to, next chance I get, for mate's local hobby shop, I will go and chase up some outerwears for this to try and prevent a lot of stuff happening again. So, but other than that, I can't fault this truck. It's an awesome truck, and I'm really happy with it. Like I said before, if any of you guys have got these trucks and that, and have put pipes on, drop me a bloody message and let me know what you've got and how it's going. Because like I said, I do want to put a pipe on this truck, and I'm sort of having. I don't want to go buy a pipe because they're not really that bloody cheap over here. So let me know how he's got on and what pipes he's running. Even a photo if you like, whatever. So other than that, that's it for this one. And thanks for watching. Stay tuned for some more videos. And until next time, remember, keep getting outside, keep having fun with the RC hobby. Righto guys, catch you then.